Welcome to the channel NextGen Tech Prep. In today's video, we are diving deep into essential questions and comprehensive answers for the Microsoft Agentic AI Business Solutions Architect certification. Whether you're preparing for an exam or just looking to sharpen your knowledge, you're in the right place. If you find this content valuable, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Now, let's get started.
A company uses Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales to manage leads that are stored in a Microsoft Dataverse table named lead and use non-standard terminology and custom columns. You need to configure business terms in the lead table so that Microsoft Copilot controls can summarize the leads efficiently. The solution must minimize administrative effort. How should you configure the business terms? The options are: Option A, combine all the fields into one custom field. Option B, map the field display names as business terms. Option C, add the schema names as business terms. Option D, create new business terms for each field.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Microsoft Copilot controls, business terms, lead table, minimize administrative effort, non-standard terminology.
The correct answer is option B, map the field display names as business terms.
Why is this correct? B. Mapping the field display names as business terms enables Copilot to recognize and summarize non-standard and custom lead fields efficiently while requiring minimal administrative overhead. Why are the others incorrect? A. Combining all fields into a single custom field destroys data granularity, breaks relational data structure, and requires significant effort to implement and maintain. C. Technical schema names are designed for system processes rather than natural language understanding, making them ineffective for Copilot summarization. D. Manually creating new business terms for every field requires unnecessarily high administrative effort compared to mapping existing display names.
A company uses Microsoft Dynamics 365 finance and operations apps. The company plans to use Microsoft Copilot in-app help and guidance to generate responses for internal business processes. You need to add an additional knowledge source for the business processes. The solution must not add new topics to the Copilot agent for the finance and operations apps. Which knowledge source should you add? The options are: Option A, Microsoft Dataverse. Option B, a public website. Option C, Azure AI search. Option D, a file upload.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Microsoft Copilot in-app help and guidance, additional knowledge source, must not add new topics, internal business processes.
The correct answer is option D, a file upload.
Why is this correct? D. Uploading a file directly as a knowledge source in Copilot allows the agent to generate grounded answers from internal process documentation without creating new topics within the agent. Why are the others incorrect? A. Microsoft Dataverse connects to structured Dataverse tables and data models rather than providing a simple unstructured document upload without creating topic schema structures. B. A public website knowledge source is used for indexing publicly available web pages, which is unsuitable for sensitive internal business processes. C. Azure AI search is an external enterprise search integration used for indexing large custom enterprise data stores, not a direct file-based grounding source within the agent context.
A company has an AI business solution. You need to extend the solution so that Microsoft 365 Copilot can invoke external logic hosted in Azure services. What should you include in the solution? The options are: Option A, Microsoft Copilot Studio skills. Option B, Microsoft Power Platform connectors. Option C, custom engine agents.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Microsoft 365 Copilot, invoke external logic, Azure services, extend the solution.
The correct answer is option B, Microsoft Power Platform connectors.
Why is this correct? B. Power Platform connectors act as plugins that enable Microsoft 365 Copilot to interact directly with REST APIs and external business logic hosted in Azure services. Why are the others incorrect? A. Microsoft Copilot Studio skills, formerly bot framework skills, are used to extend standalone bots or custom copilots, not to serve as extensibility plugins for Microsoft 365 Copilot to call Azure APIs. C. Custom engine agents are standalone generative AI bots built from scratch using custom orchestrators and LLMs, rather than plugins used to extend Microsoft 365 Copilot.
A financial services company uses Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance. Currently, the company's support staff manually reviews customer transaction histories to detect potential fraud cases before escalating the cases. You need to recommend an automation solution for the review process. The solution must ensure that escalations reach a human analyst for final decision-making. What should you recommend? The options are: Option A, deploy an autonomous agent that closes non-fraud cases automatically. Option B, use Microsoft 365 Copilot in Word to automatically finalize fraud detection policies. Option C, configure a task agent to generate fraud risk scores for the human analyst to review. Option D, export the data to a data lake for analysis in Microsoft Power BI.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: automation solution for review process, reach a human analyst for final decision making, detect potential fraud cases.
The correct answer is option C. Configure a task agent to generate fraud risk scores for the human analyst to review.
Why is this correct? C. Configuring a task agent to generate risk scores automates the initial review while ensuring a human analyst receives the insights to make the final decision. Why are the others incorrect? A. An autonomous agent that closes cases without human intervention removes human oversight, violating the requirement for human-in-the-loop final decision-making. B. Copilot in Word generates or edits policy documentation, which does not automate the real-time review of transaction histories in Dynamics 365 Finance. D. Exporting data to Power BI creates reporting dashboards but does not automate the active workflow process of reviewing and escalating potential fraud cases.
A company plans to deploy a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent that will analyze historical business data to predict customer behavior. The data is currently stored in an Azure SQL database, flat files, APIs, and logs. You need to organize the data into a format that can be used as a knowledge source in Copilot Studio. What should you include in the solution? The options are: Option A, Azure AI Search. Option B, Azure Data Lake Storage. Option C, Azure Cosmos DB. Option D, Azure Translator in Foundry Tools.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Microsoft Copilot Studio Agent, Knowledge Source, Azure SQL Database, Flat Files, APIs, and Logs.
The correct answer is option A, Azure AI Search.
Why is this correct? A. Azure AI Search can index diverse data sources such as databases, files, and APIs into a searchable index, enabling Copilot Studio to use it directly as an enterprise knowledge source for generative answers. Why are the others incorrect? B. Azure Data Lake Storage provides scalable repository storage for raw unstructured and structured data, but lacks built-in indexing and search capabilities needed directly by Copilot Studio as a knowledge source. C. Azure Cosmos DB is a fully managed NoSQL database service meant for transactional operational data, not for aggregating and indexing varied enterprise sources into a searchable knowledge base for Copilot Studio. D. Azure Translator in Azure AI Services is used for language translation tasks and does not provide data indexing or retrieval functionality needed for knowledge sources.
A retail company plans to deploy Microsoft Copilot Studio agents to support Microsoft Dynamics 365 commerce scenarios. A Microsoft Power Apps inventory management solution. You need to recommend a solution to organize product catalog data as a consistent source for multiple AI systems. What should you recommend? The options are: Option A, let each agent scrape product details from Microsoft SharePoint online libraries. Option B, store the product catalog data in a separate custom table for each agent. Option C, configure prompts to pull product details from the PDFs of external vendors. Option D, centralize the product catalog data in Microsoft Dataverse and expose the data to both agents.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: organize product catalog data, consistent source, multiple AI systems, Microsoft Copilot Studio agents, Power Apps.
The correct answer is option D, centralize the product catalog data in Microsoft Dataverse and expose the data to both agents.
Why is this correct? D. Centralizing product catalog data in Microsoft Dataverse creates a single source of truth that natively integrates with Power Apps, Dynamics 365 Commerce, and Copilot Studio agents, ensuring consistency across all AI systems. Why are the others incorrect? A. Scraping unstructured SharePoint online libraries leads to data inconsistencies, higher latency, and lacks the structured database integration required by Power Apps and Dynamics 365. B. Creating separate custom tables for each agent introduces data redundancy and silos, contradicting the requirement for a unified, consistent data source. C. Querying external vendor PDFs directly using prompts is inefficient, unreliable, and fails to establish a centralized, controlled product catalog for business operations.
A company has a portfolio of AI initiatives at different stages of development. You need to recommend a structured approach to evaluating the return on AI investment, ROI, across all the initiatives. The solution must balance immediate results with long-term values and strategic innovations. What should you include in the recommendation? The options are: Option A, a simple cost and benefit analysis. Option B, a horizon-based framework. Option C, the internal rate of return, IRR, function. Option D, a prioritization grid.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: portfolio of AI initiatives, different stages of development, balance immediate results with long-term values, strategic innovations.
The correct answer is option B, a horizon-based framework.
Why is this correct? B. A horizon-based framework categorizes initiatives into short-term, medium-term, and long-term horizons. This allows organizations to evaluate ROI across different development stages while balancing quick wins against long-term strategic value. Why are the others incorrect? A. A simple cost and benefit analysis focuses primarily on short-term quantifiable financial metrics, failing to account for long-term strategic value or different developmental stages. C. Internal rate of return, IRR, is a financial metric requiring predictable cash flows, making it unsuitable for evaluating early-stage or highly speculative AI innovations. D. A prioritization grid helps rank projects based on criteria like effort versus impact, but it does not provide a comprehensive framework for measuring multi-stage ROI.
You need to recommend a Microsoft Power Platform business solution that consolidates data from multiple internal and external data sources. The solution must meet the following requirements: provide the data as a centralized source for multiple AI systems, including Microsoft Copilot Studio agents, Dynamics 365 applications, and external AI models. Support built-in data classification and protection policies. Provide data for grounding and analytics. What should you include in the recommendation? The options are: Option A, Microsoft Dataverse. Option B, Azure Data Lake Storage. Option C, a Microsoft Power BI semantic model. Option D, Azure Cosmos DB.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Microsoft Power Platform Business Solution, centralized source for multiple AI systems, Dynamics 365 applications, built-in data classification and protection policies.
The correct answer is option A, Microsoft Dataverse.
Why is this correct? A. Microsoft Dataverse serves as the native, centralized data platform for Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamics 365. It provides built-in data classification, security, and governance policies while seamlessly serving data for AI grounding across Copilot Studio and external models. Why are the others incorrect? B. Azure Data Lake Storage is an Azure IaaS/PaaS storage resource rather than a native Power Platform business solution with built-in Dynamics 365 integration and governance capabilities. C. A Power BI semantic model is structured primarily for analytical reporting and visualization, not as a unified transactional and operational data platform for Dynamics 365 and AI agents. D. Azure Cosmos DB is a NoSQL database service in Azure, not a native Power Platform business solution that natively integrates with Dynamics 365 applications in Copilot Studio.
A company plans to deploy an AI-based customer service app that will autonomously manage interactions, escalate complex cases, and learn from historical ticket data. You need to perform a return on AI investment, ROI, analysis of the app deployment. The solution must ensure that the analysis is accurate. What should you do first? The options are: Option A, establish the AI performance metrics. Option B, conduct an AI market benchmarking study. Option C, model the customer experience. Option D, identify and quantify all the development, deployment, and operating costs.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: return on AI investment, ROI analysis, accurate, do first.
The correct answer is option D. Identify and quantify all the development, deployment, and operating costs.
Why is this correct? D. Calculating return on AI investment, ROI, requires establishing a complete baseline of total expenditure, which begins by identifying and quantifying all development, deployment, and operating costs. Why are the others incorrect? A. Establishing performance metrics tracks operational efficiency, but it does not provide the financial expenditure baseline required to calculate monetary return on investment. B. Market benchmarking offers external context, but it does not supply the internal actual cost data essential for an accurate ROI calculation. C. Modeling the customer experience assesses user journey and satisfaction, but it is not the foundational financial step needed to measure investment returns.
A company has a Microsoft 365 tenant in Canada and multiple Microsoft Power Platform environments in Canada and the United States. The company plans to deploy a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent to the Canadian environment that will use Microsoft Dataverse data stored in Canada, a connector that connects to an Azure OpenAI instance in the United States. You need to ensure that the agent adheres to data residency and data movement policies before being deployed. What should you do? The options are: Option A, ensure that the data processed by Azure OpenAI is stored in the United States. Option B, from the Microsoft Purview portal, validate the data loss prevention settings. Option C, migrate the tenant to the United States. Option D, ensure that cross-region data movement is enabled for the Canadian environment and connector dependencies.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Copilot Studio Agent, Canadian environment, Azure OpenAI instance in the United States, data residency, and data movement policies.
The correct answer is option D. Ensure that cross-region data movement is enabled for the Canadian environment and connector dependencies.
Why is this correct? D. Connecting a Canadian Copilot Studio agent to an Azure OpenAI service in the United States requires sending data outside the local region. Cross-region data movement must be explicitly enabled for the environment to allow generative AI requests to cross geographic boundaries. Why are the others incorrect? A. Ensuring processed data is stored in the United States does not authorize or enable the cross-region data transmission required from the Canadian environment. B. Microsoft Purview DLP policies control connector usage and data classification, but do not enable the necessary Power Platform environment setting for cross-region AI data movement. C. Migrating the tenant to the United States is an extreme measure that violates the requirement to keep Dataverse data stored in Canada.
A company has two Microsoft Power Platform environments named Dev1 and Prod1. A Microsoft Copilot Studio agent named Agent1 is built into a solution in the Dev1 environment. You plan to deploy Agent1 to Prod1. You need to make Agent1 available to the users in Prod1. The solution must minimize administrative effort. What should you do? The options are: Option A, share Agent1 with the users in Prod1. Option B, export the solution as an unmanaged solution and import the solution into Prod1. Option C, export the solution as a managed solution and import the solution into Prod1. Option D, create a new Copilot Studio agent in Prod1 by replicating the configuration of Agent1.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords Dev1 and Prod1, Copilot Studio Agent, built into a solution, deploy to Prod1, minimize administrative effort.
The correct answer is option C, export the solution as a managed solution and import the solution into Prod1.
Why is this correct? C. Exporting the solution as managed and importing it into Prod1 is the standard application lifecycle management (ALM) practice for deploying components to production, ensuring consistency while minimizing administrative effort. Why are the others incorrect? A. Sharing the agent in Prod1 is not possible until the solution containing Agent1 has been deployed to the Prod1 environment. B. Unmanaged solutions are meant for development environments. Deploying as unmanaged in production allows unsupported customization and breaks solution lifecycle management. D. Recreating the agent manually in Prod1 requires extensive time and effort, contradicting the requirement to minimize administrative effort and violating ALM best practices.
A company has a Microsoft Power Platform environment that contains Microsoft Dataverse data. You create a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent named Agent1 that processes the Dataverse data. You discover that Agent1 fails to return relevant or accurate results. You need to improve the quality and reliability of data grounding. What should you do? The options are: Option A, retrain Agent1. Option B, verify and cleanse the Dataverse data. Option C, use an adaptive card in Agent1. Option D, add example user inputs to the training data of Agent1.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords Copilot Studio Agent, Dataverse data, quality and reliability of data grounding.
The correct answer is option B, verify and cleanse the Dataverse data.
Why is this correct? B. Generative AI responses rely directly on the quality of the source content. Verifying and cleansing the underlying Dataverse data ensures that the grounding source contains accurate, complete, and relevant information for the agent to retrieve. Why are the others incorrect? A. Retraining the agent modifies intent recognition or model parameters, but it does not resolve inaccuracies or quality issues inherent in the source Dataverse data. C. Adaptive cards are UI components used to display structured content visually to users. They do not improve data quality or underlying retrieval accuracy. D. Adding example user inputs improves topic trigger accuracy for matching user queries, but it does not fix inaccurate or low-quality data grounding sources.
A company plans to deploy a Microsoft Copilot Studio agent to enhance customer support. The company stores customer data across ServiceNow, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance, Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management, and Excel files in SharePoint Online. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that the agent can deliver accurate and timely responses. What should you recommend? The options are: Option A, implement a model router for query handling. Option B, create custom prompts. Option C, implement Microsoft Power Platform connectors. Option D, enable incremental indexing in Azure AI search.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords Microsoft Copilot Studio Agent, customer data across ServiceNow, Dynamics 365 Finance, Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management, Excel files in SharePoint Online.
The correct answer is option C. Implement Microsoft Power Platform connectors.
Why is this correct? C. Power Platform connectors allow Copilot Studio agents to interact directly with external data sources like ServiceNow, Dynamics 365, and SharePoint, fetching accurate and real-time information across enterprise systems. Why are the others incorrect? A. A model router routes queries between different LLMs based on cost or complexity, but it does not provide data connectivity to external systems. B. Custom prompts guide the generative response behavior and formatting of the LLM, but they do not establish connections to retrieve data from external platforms. D. Azure AI search indexing helps refresh searchable data, but it is not the primary mechanism for Copilot Studio to seamlessly connect across all specified enterprise connectors directly.
A manufacturing company wants to deploy an agent that will automate supplier invoice processing. You are designing a solution to evaluate the financial implications of the deployment. The company is especially concerned about budget overruns. You need to ensure that the solution considers the total cost of ownership, TCO, the expected savings from using automation, and whether to extend the existing AI capabilities. What should you include in the design? The options are: Option A, a break-even analysis only. Option B, adopting pre-built agents to reduce the deployment time. Option C, training a custom model. Option D, a return on AI investment, ROI, analysis.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: evaluate the financial implications, total cost of ownership, TCO, expected savings from using automation, extend the existing AI capabilities.
The correct answer is option D, a return on AI investment, ROI, analysis.
Why is this correct? D. A return on AI investment, ROI, analysis provides a comprehensive framework to evaluate financial implications, incorporating TCO, expected savings from automation, potential risks of budget overruns, and the financial viability of extending AI capabilities. Why are the others incorrect? A. A break-even analysis alone is too limited because it only calculates the point where costs equal revenue/savings, failing to fully capture TCO and strategic decisions about extending AI capabilities. B. Adopting pre-built agents is a deployment tactic to save time, not a financial evaluation methodology to assess TCO, savings, and budget implications. C. Training a custom model is an implementation approach that increases development costs, rather than an evaluation framework for assessing financial implications and ROI.
A company has a Microsoft Power Platform solution that contains the following components: Microsoft Dataverse tables, a Microsoft Power BI workspace named WS1, a Canvas app named App1 that uses Dataverse, a Power BI semantic model that connects to Dataverse by using direct query. You plan to use generative AI to provide answers to queries based on a subset of corporate data. You need to ensure that the data is available as a grounding data source for AI systems. What should you do? The options are: Option A, populate a Dataverse table. Option B, share WS1. Option C, endorse the semantic model. Option D, export the semantic model.
To arrive at the correct answer, we focus on the keywords: Power BI semantic model, generative AI, grounding data source, AI systems.
The correct answer is option C, endorse the semantic model.
Why is this correct? C. Endorsing, promoting or certifying, a Power BI semantic model helps organization members and AI systems discover, trust, and identify authoritative, high-quality data to use as a reliable grounding data source for generative AI queries. Why are the others incorrect? A. Populating a Dataverse table adds raw data to storage, but it does not make the structured semantic model discoverable or marked as a trusted data source for generative AI. B. Sharing workspace WS1 provides access to workspace items for specific users, but it does not officially certify or expose the model as a trusted grounding source for AI capabilities. D. Exporting the semantic model creates a local or external file copy, which breaks central governance and does not configure the model as a live grounding data source.